But Jay West, one thing I definitely want to talk about is like your mindset too, because you have a mindset of where like if you don't like something, bro, I'm cutting it off. I'm not doing it. I'm moving on to what best fits me, what I think best fits me.
Definitely.
I want you to elaborate on the people, your journey, your let's say educational journey or life journey of situations like that where you feel like, yo, I already know I don't like it and I'm cutting it off. This is not for me.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say, well, I think everybody owes it to themselves to put themselves in positions that they want to be in, because we all have, you are the pilot of your journey. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's there pushing the controls. You have to be in complete control of what you're doing. So, and I've been a person, I like to try things. I know y'all like to try things as well. I'll try something out and I want to see if I like it or not. If I don't, I'm not going to stay there because I know time is very valuable. You can't buy time. It's something you can't get back. So I'm not going to put my time into something that I don't feel like this is it for me. I'm all about feeling. I feel like I'm really in touch with my inner self, and I know when something's going to be good for me, and I know when something that's not the situation I need to be in. So speaking specifically, my whole college experience, I was going the pre-med route. I was like, okay, I'm going to go to med school. I'm going to be a doctor. And when I got to the actual time where it's like, okay, time to apply for med school, time to do internships, time to do this and that, I was like, I don't really think this is for me. When I finally got a chance, and I'm like, I got to do something about that. Just because, and this is, I think, a trap that a lot of people get stuck in. I went to school for this. Now I have to do it. Mm-hmm. And we don't give ourselves, like, you have to give yourself a little bit of like patience, because you're young, especially when we're making these decisions, 18, 19, you don't even know yourself yet. Looking back, a couple years back, I would say I was a completely different person. I think I'm growing every year, and I think that's all we can aspire to do. But to think that I made this decision, I'm 19, I got to stick with it. No, that's the perfect time to, when you're young, is the perfect time to switch things up, try new things. And that's exactly what I did. I went from the medical field and I went into education. And how I got to education was somewhat through my medical experience, because being so interested in the body and things like that, it led me to being a personal trainer. Now I'm working with muscles. How can I develop muscles? And the mental health aspect of it, you're working with clients and everybody, I mean, well, if you guys both go to the gym. Mm-hmm. You always feel a little better when you leave the gym. It's like, I don't know what it does for you, but it gets that blood flowing and you're active. So that got me in touch with people on that side. And I was like, hey, I like teaching people things. I like showing people things. And I was working with a lot of kids. And that was like, okay, I have this science background. I'm interested in the body, things like that. And I like working with kids. I like teaching people things. Maybe I should try education. And once I got involved with that, it was like a game changer. That's where I finally did something I felt like, okay, this is where I need to be. And things might change. I know a lot of people on their second, third careers, because you constantly growing. So all I would say is move off of feeling, move off how you feel. Don't ever feel stuck in a position, because you always have the power to change it. And when you feel like that's your spot, that's right for you, keep going until you don't feel like that anymore. And that's all I can say.
No, not to cut you off. That, I think what you just said is very key, right? So a lot of people go to school, like, say, I don't know, like maybe say you did 4 years and you have a bachelor's degree in health studies, right? Now you're out of college. You realize that there's no jobs paying you a lot of money with that degree. So it's like, okay, I got to make another move in life. Oh, shit, I already spent 4 years and a bunch of money on this. I have to become a nurse, or I have to do this or do that. Personally for me, that's a very limited way of thinking, because as you said, you use your background in health to get into fitness, to get into teaching. Mm-hmm. And I think that's all about perspective. You realize that what you did wasn't wasted. It was just an experience. And even though it's not directly correlated to what you're doing now, mm-hmm. you're like, okay, I have a little bit of knowledge in that. Let me actually apply it to where I see myself.
Exactly.
And that's all perspective. That's all like, you like, listen, man. Even that's like when something bad happens to you, you can see the positive in it. You just have to look for it.
Yeah, there's always a lesson in everything. It's just, are you finding that lesson? There's no real failures in life. It's Just setbacks.
That's it.
Minor setback for major comebacks.
It's lessons, man. That's just not a quote. Like, it's a fact. Like, it's lessons.
That's
you can
right.
lose, and that's going to teach you how to move for the next big win.
Exactly.
Until you die. That's the only how you can't rebuttal. But other than that, you coming back with that rebuttal.
Exactly. The only true loss is when you don't learn from that experience. There's always something to take from every experience. Even going back to the FedEx job, I'm sure there's things you took from that job that helped propel you. Maybe it was customer service.
I literally came on this podcast and talked about it. I'm like, bro, my manager, fucking leader. A leader. And I myself, someone who wants to be an entrepreneur one day, I looked at this motherfucker and said, oh, I see why God put me here. I need to pick up 1 or 2 gems from this nigga. And I did. But once again, you have to be on the lookout for the messages God or whatever you be in, higher beings, right? You want to be a podcaster, Nick? You went to school for 4 years for health studies? Figure out how you could implement that into the podcasting game. Don't look at it as $150,000 wasted. How can that $150,000 be your niche to be better than the Charlamagne or Joe Rogan or Andrew Schultz?
Y'all dropping gems that ass though, because I never looked at it like that. Like if you in a sticky situation, find someone you could learn from. That's why you probably in that sticky situation where you don't want to be.
Yes,
definitely. Everybody's got something. You can learn something from everybody. I don't care what they're doing. They could be a janitor. You're gonna learn how to clean right. Cleanliness is next to godliness.
Come on, Jay Wes. You're talking to the people right now.
Yo,
that's straight up Trinidadian gospels right there.
And that's something I learned from my grandfather. Shout out to my grandfather.
Ever told on a nigga? No. Ever squeezed a trigger? Yep. Ever set a nigga up? No. Ever helped a brother out when he was down on his luck?